Perfect. Welcome, folks. First of all, congratulations on having made it halfway through the week. You're almost there, and the holidays are around the corner. I've already started to say this because I think it's never too late to start planning. I mean, for the holidays, not for the business during the holidays, but the holidays themselves as well. And so, what we're going to cover today is really exciting. We've tried to do something different this time. I can see a few people that are attending the webinar today, which are, for the lack of a better way to put it, regulars. And so normally I'm sharing a lot of insights on just conversion optimization, and I'm sharing insights which can get repetitive. So this time we wanted to make sure that we are trying to be unconventional. I'm not keeping too well, so I might be slightly lower energy than what I normally am. But yes, I've made sure I'm adequately caffeinated. Although I was advised against it, but I'm adequately caffeinated and fully prepared with about 40 pages of ideas here on a Google Doc. And I really want to walk you through those. So here's how we're going to do this. It's just going to be me. I'll walk you through these ideas one after another. I have a lot of examples to show you and a lot of my own insights to share. At ConvertCart, we run more than 10,000 experiments a year. We work with more than 500 businesses, all doing at least 7 figures in revenue. So that way we get exposed to a lot of fantastic data and insights. And I would love to share all of that with you and add as much value as possible. With every webinar, my goal would be that you get at least 2, 3, or 4 ideas which you can immediately go and implement, or at least think of implementing. So if that goal is achieved by the end of this webinar, it's been a successful webinar. That's the only goal we'll walk into this webinar with. As an aside, if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat while I'm speaking or in the Q&A section. Don't forget to pick everyone when you're putting something in the chat. Like, for example, Darren just told that he is in Madison, Wisconsin, but only I got to see that information. And so what we want to do is put your questions in the chat, just make sure you select everyone. And so everybody can see your question and I can answer it publicly. If I don't want to kind of pick that question immediately, I'll make sure I answer it, in the next few minutes of you putting it in the chat. To answer your question, Matt, yes, our webinars are recorded, but we don't make all our webinars public. So it really depends on how this one goes and if the ideas are useful enough. So I wouldn't count on it. So please try and stick around for as long as you can. But yes, about 50% of our webinars are made public. Okay, perfect. All right. So let's jump into this. I want to first make sure that we are on the same page about unconventional. So what we want to do is first show you a really unconventional holiday marketing ad or a video ad, which, I'm sure some of you might have seen it. But let me just share my screen and get myself out of the screen really quickly and play this for you.
È una festa, la vita è una festa, la vita è una festa, sì. La vita è una festa, la vita è una festa, la vita è una festa.
Perfect. So the reason for showing this ad is so that we fully absorb the meaning of unconventional. And what I mean by that is everybody does sales, everybody does offers, but it's about embracing new things. I recommend you go and check this commercial out on YouTube and just read through the comments. It's very surprising that you would end up having a soft corner for a Venus flytrap, which is like the plant that I would never have thought I would have a soft corner for. So that's what quality communication does, I think. But I just want to make sure we drive the unconventional point home. Now, let's dive in. I hope if somebody can confirm, I hope my audio is good. Although I do have confirmation, but I just want to make sure that we're good. And I'm just going to jump right in. So let's begin with the stuff that truly matters. And what are some of the important things that we want to get into. The season has already started. As far as we are concerned, we are already working on ideas for our customers which are related to improving not only conversion rate but revenue focused purely on um, you know sales. Generally speaking, the official holidays shopping season is compressed to 26 days, but there's so much more you can do in between that I think it really matters. So you've got Inbox Zero Day in October, World Mental Health Day, then you've got Halloween. And I think if we all know about this calendar, we've also published it, so you can go and fetch it on our website. We are also going to keep adding to it and we'll make it more detailed. We'll also be publishing a 2025 marketing calendar, so you can get that as well. But the reason this is important is because people want to spend endless amounts of money during this period of the year. We all already know that because we all also spend that money. But generally speaking, higher average order value products categorically go up, before Christmas. So you want to make sure that you are cognizant of this fact, you're aware about it, and you're able to think through it. If you see how this changes because of gift buying that's happening across the board, it's really important that we adapt to this change. And I'll walk you through what that adaptation could mean like. The other thing I want us to be conscious about is the emotions we're trying to appeal to. Now, the reason why that's important is the messaging you will do on your site, the things you will call your products, the way you will call out your sale. All of that has to, at the end of the day, psychologically appeal to the customer you're running it for. So I just want us to be subconsciously aware of the feelings we're going after. So there's joy and excitement, urgency and FOMO, trigger impulse buying. Oh no, it's only 4 days. It's not going to reach in time. We have to buy something. So that urgency, love and togetherness. So family, kids, parents, whatever, whichever direction you want to redirect your love. Surprise and delight. That nobody, almost everybody likes that. Nostalgia, so retro storytelling, sort of stuff. Comfort and security, stress-free shopping, free returns. It's fine. You can do the, you you sure need that $600 gadget. So that kind of stuff. And then belonging and inclusivity. So bringing in some diversity, just making people feel comfortable. You don't need to hoist any flags. Just try and be as inclusive as possible. Just be nice. And generosity and gratitude, give back as much as possible. Now, throughout my conversation today, I'll try and help you articulate how you could bring in all of these emotions. And I have a bunch of examples. Admittedly, some of the ideas might be and some of the ideas might be amazing. So, you can keep what kind of works for you. I'm trying to make sure, because we have sites today that range from people selling bags to mobile accessories, to people selling car parts, to all kinds of things. I think so. There's a wide variety, and fashion, of course. So I just want to make sure we are able to give ideas to everyone today. Let's start with emails. The first thing I feel we can do before the sale is do an yearly roundup. And that's a great way to get engagement on promotional emails. If you see, your promotional emails are generally one third or half in engagement when compared to all your other emails, your workflow emails. And the reason for that is because they are becoming kind of monotonous. They contain an offer, you're trying to make people buy, they know you're trying to make them buy. So it's not worth their while to dive in. And so this yearly roundup, similar to what Spotify does, and now YouTube has started to do it, and now everybody's starting to do it slowly, is just to make sure that you're reminding people that, hey, you know what? Here's your history with us, and here's a little gift from us because you have this amazing history with us. Executing this is not hard. Shopify, if you're set up on Shopify or any other similar e-commerce platform, getting this data, knowing who your VIP customers are, knowing your have high value customers, irrespective of frequency, those things is not that hard. You need some Excel crunching and you should be able to get there. But I recommend you put in that effort because something like this really, really clicks really well. The other thing is don't rely on the Christmas and the Thanksgiving and the Black Friday email alone. I feel brands overdo it. And the problem during that time is the inbox is flooded with everybody and their uncle sending an email about a sale. And so it's impossible that you will be able to, unless you have extremely, extremely sticky brand recall and people are really looking for you in their inbox, it's going to be very hard to get that outsized amount of return on your emails. Email rules were changed this year, so you cannot overspam your list. Do not do that at any cost. I promise you that if you do that, your domain reputation will get hurt, and it will not come back. So if it gets hurt by till the end of November, it will not come back for Christmas. So just be wary of that. Instead, use all of these amazing opportunities that this season is giving you to remind people about something else. So there's free shipping day, there's first day of winter, there's National Deal Week, there's World Quality Day, there's Veterans Day, etc. And you could also do a funny take on it. Like there's World Quality Day, and our favorite quality is the quality of a good customer. Maybe I don't know. So I'm just saying that it's up to you as a brand to personify and kind of imbibe these days into your way of promoting. But that's really what you're kind of getting after. Um, the other thing I feel brands don't do a lot, and the next 2-3 ideas are similar, is just be different. I think in a lot of cases we try and achieve too much through emails, whereas the fundamental job that an email gets done is give them a reminder. That's all that it gets done. And so you can actually use that opportunity to give them a reminder while also giving them a reminder about other things. Like, for example, it says, hey, you know what? Stock up on candles, charge your devices, get those groceries, check in with neighbors who may need assistance, check in with that old guy on the street, all of the. So I'm just saying that niceness is something that should be a second, should not be a second thought. It should be something that people think about along with, when they think about your brand. Instead of the usual discount appeal, try and show commitment. Hey, you know what? We know we're going to get thousands of orders, but we promise that we'll deliver the best quality product possible. So in this case, for example, the brand, instead of calling it Black Friday, wants to call it Long-Term Investment Friday, because when you're buying a jacket or a piece of equipment from us, it's a long-term investment. It's never going to go anywhere. Also, sometimes forget about the holiday decor. Just send a simple text email. I, in fact, recommend, because I know actually about 85-90% of the attendees today are e-commerce founders or owners. Why don't you handwrite the email for once? Just don't do any design. Just say, hey, this person here, I think we've all had a fairly eventful year. There's so much happening around the world that distracts us all the time, and it's disturbing at so many levels. And so why don't you just buy a gift for that loved one who needs to know that you care. And a simple message written in text can really work. Also, you can also showcase your products really well. I feel email is a communication channel. It's not a sales channel. It is often confused as one. It is often only used to send sales, weekend offers, flash sales, free shipping. Here's a coupon. Here's products that you saw before. Here's new products we are launching. So it's really sell, sell, sell. Instead, show them products being put to use. So if you have user-generated content, actual customers using your products, you could showcase them, or any other way in which you can essentially win customers by pitching or showing the product in a proper way. Okay, so that's about emails. Again, I am not going to talk about ideas today, which are run of the mill. So I'm stopping with emails. Now I know for people who are regular webinar attendees, some of you probably have started to attend for just reminders of things to do. But I want to assure you that today you're not getting any boring stuff. I'm only going to talk about things that are different because I want feedback if that works or not. The next thing we want to get into is social media. Okay. And the underlying message I want to put across is there is probably nothing more powerful than being a brand that helps make the world a better place apart from doing business. And trust me that your customers will prefer you every day of the week if you are able to communicate that well enough. So, with social media and the influencers that you hire, if you do, ensure that you're not just promoting stuff. It should not be one of those videos that says, "Hey, I got this amazing product from this amazing company, and it's life changing, and it's really nice, and you can order. The link is in my bio, and here's a coupon code." The problem with that, there's no problem with that, but the challenge with that is that it's just that it's extremely transactional, and everybody is going to be doing that. So there's zero differentiation. Instead, if you can attach yourself to a cause, it could be the fact that your packaging is recyclable. It should be could be that you donate $1, or you plant a tree for every product that's sold, or you feed a child, in Africa or in India for every product that's sold. Whatever it is, it would cost you half a dollar on an order to make that happen, and it would add immense value not only to the world but also to the customer that's buying your product. So when you do that, ensure that these influencers whose fundamental job is to evangelize have something to evangelize and not just sell, because that just dilutes the entire messaging completely, right? Also spot niche moments, instead of just saying, "Hey, holidays are here, so the reason we added this idea in is that we see a lot of brands using very generic meta level messaging. And so the problem with that is that it gets lost in the crowd. So there's too much happening, and it's extremely hard to figure out what works and what doesn't. So I strongly recommend, um, uh, you know, using messaging so that it is relevant to what you are. So if you were to make a Venn diagram, it's what you are, what your customer wants, and the overlap of that is where your messaging should be. The other thing I would do, and this idea and the next one are both connected, is give a sneak peek to your customers, into your warehouse, into your team, do a dance. I think that authenticity is missing. I actually speak to a lot of Shopify stores. I spoke to a store yesterday, and they have a very specific, I can't reveal, of course, because we were analyzing and doing an audit for them. But they have a very specific art related product. Okay, so let me just keep it there. And that whole site had tons of products, lots of customer reviews. It had an about us section, no picture of the founder, no address. It had a contact us, it had a chat, it had a phone number, but no location. It seemed like a pretty decent site, but the thing is that there was zero connect from a it was just essentially, "Hey, this is a business, you buy things and you leave." Whereas if you were actually a store on the street, that's not how you would operate. You would greet everybody as graciously as possible when they walk in, possibly even offer them candies for every time they shop. So I think we are a very digital world, and it's very important to continue to keep the human factor up front. And the easiest way to do that is you leveraging social media or your own site to showcase your products, right? I give that advice a lot. I think your website homepage should have your photo as a founder, because you stand for your products, even your team for that matter. And I think that pays its dividends many times over. Um, the next few ideas are just really, they're probably very hard to uh, you know uh, execute, but in this case, gamification of orders. So if you run a brand, or if you have products that can be bought in multiples, then you could, I recommend you create a simplistic points based system, or gamify the purchase experience itself. That's probably what we would want to push. This idea here about, and why Roblox is there, is something I don't want us to be too focused on, because it's going to be very hard to execute something that's super technical. I also have another example later on of this company called Coach. It's going to be extremely hard to execute, but I'll still show you what they do. Stand for a cause and be genuine about it. The biggest incentive you can give your shopper is that a good comment. So I think that it really emphasizes again what I said earlier. And the final one is nurture your community. As a matter of fact, community building is probably the single most important trend that has been around us for the last 3 years, and if you've not been able to tap into that as a brand, this is the time you could. It's never too late, and I'll tell you why. Because what happened is when COVID occurred, everybody was locked into their houses. So the sense of community became digital, and that gave birth to all of these Slack communities for founders, for market. They were there before that, but they came alive big time. I yesterday saw a community for go to market and founders and go to market leaders and marketers for B2B companies in software. So extremely specific. So when COVID occurred, communities kind of became a thing. They blew up because people were locked inside their homes. So there are now Slack communities which are 10, 20,000 people strong. In your case as a brand, I'm not asking you to go and build a Slack community. I'm just asking you to double down on that idea I gave you earlier about finding your most important VIP customers, people who bought from you, say, twice in the last 1 year, thrice in the last 1 year. They are either already loyal or are going to be loyal, and you want to just bring them all together and put them in a single place and say, hey, you know what, if you've bought from us this year, here is what we're doing for you, something on those lines. So you call that community out, and then you take it to the next level. Now let's get into the meat of things. I have some very interesting ideas on the optimization and design front. So let me walk you through those, and then we can open it up for questions after that. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Insta style layouts. If you've not realized yet, even LinkedIn is doing stories now. God help us. They're doing reels. And so it's the reality. And I would want us to bring that into web in some way or form. At ConvertCart as well, we are building a feature for this, which should be ready in a couple of months. But the fundamental point here is that you need content for it. So that's the reason we never did it. It's because a lot of brands we work with don't have the time, patience, effort that they want to kind of really put together really good quality vertical content. But everybody who had a decent social page was able to do it. But your website is not for content. Your website is for products. So you have to have product specific content that can be put out as reels or stories on your site. And it has to be similar in the way that the experience is delivered. So I recommend you do this because it is just inherently higher engagement. So it is a good idea to do that. The other thing that I would want you to definitely focus on is ensure that product discovery on your site is operating at a top-notch level. And when I say that, I mean starting with search. Visibility of the search has to be amazing. Visitors that use the search convert 5 or 6 times better because they know what they want. They are the most important customers. So make sure your search is really visible, very accessible, both on mobile. It shouldn't be on the top corner because it's very hard to reach. Then your categorization and filters should be very easy. I'll give you an example. We recently were working with a t-shirt store, and in their case, they sell all types of t-shirts, all colors of t-shirts. But we experimented. We ran an A/B test of a filter for colors. But instead of doing colors in the most conventional way, we did a filter that just said darker colors and lighter colors. That's it. That's the only 2 buttons. Like you see these quick filters here, just darker colors and lighter colors. And we realized that improved conversions drastically because that's a preference people have. That's a preference that people inherit. Like if I'm somebody who's looking for a dark colored t-shirt, I'm okay to settle for a dark blue or a dark gray instead of a black, but I'm definitely not going to go for a white. So we figured out that was something that store needed because of the nature of the business they were. So I would nail product discovery in a very, very detailed way as quickly as possible. And if you want us to take a look at that and you want an audit of your site, you can just let us know after this webinar and we'll jump on it and we'll not charge. If you're on the webinar, we'll not charge you anything for it. So the other thing is planning ahead for shoppers. Just a very simple thing that I think a lot of businesses miss is proactively communicating at least tentative timelines of when the product will leave the warehouse and when can it be expected to reach different parts of the country. You don't need to commit. You don't need to commit that it's going to reach the customer in the next 12 hours or 24 hours or 3 days. You just need to say, West Coast, 2 to 3 days, or these states, 2 to 3 days, these states, 3 to 4 days, and so on. Also, if you have the customer's location, then if you can do messaging around whether they will get it in time for Christmas or get it in time for Thanksgiving or not, that would be perfect. It is also a fantastic way of handling in stock and out of stock. So one of the key filters I would want to apply if that is relevant to your business, is I just want to see products that can be delivered in the next 3 days. Because if it's not in stock and if it's not readily shippable, then I don't want to even look at it, because that's my use case. I'm just saying that that reduces the pain for your most important, highest intent customers that are very sure they want to buy and they're exactly clear about, what they want to buy and the reason they want to buy it. The other thing is, instead of slashing prices, try and do limited edition products, right? And if somebody can, guess the biggest example of this, I'm not, so, BNN is obviously one, but there's an even bigger example, which is the holiday, brew from Starbucks. So they do it every year, those red bags of coffee beans, and its average is best. At least that's what I think. I'm not a coffee snob, but yeah, it's not like world class, life changing coffee for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's one way of not having to slash prices, is by launching products specific to the occasion. The other thing you could do is repackage your products. So instead of launching new products, you could actually do like in this case, it's a holiday blend, but you could do a holiday hamper sort of a setup. I'll talk about hampers again in a bit. But whether it's bundles or new sizes, or if you want to sell a he and she together, like in the case of sweaters, you could do that as well. Some of these things need not even be tested. You should actually just do them and deploy them on the site, because they are just added experience. I also can assure you that if you're set up on a simple store like Shopify, WooCommerce, or a BigCommerce, don't let developers make money off of these simple improvements or simple changes you ask them to make. These are very simple changes, very, very easy to make. And I often see businesses paying for entire landing page builds, $2,000 or $3,000, maybe even more, to just get a bundle on the site or something like that. So please, let's try not to do that. This is what I was talking about when I mentioned Coach as a brand. So in their case, what they did is they essentially created a virtual store inside of their site, which was their holiday store. So there was a call to action on the homepage that said, visit our holiday store. And there's actually a walkthrough 3D of a virtual store. So this is the reason we brought this here, is because this is the highest level you can take your holiday shopping to on your site. Also, this doesn't work very well on the phone, so I felt it's excessive. But somebody on the brand team at Coach wanted to spend all the money they have, so they did this. But my limited advice here is, brands will go really far to make sure that they are putting an experience together that engages customers, whether it is a scavenger hunt or whether it's something else. So the best way for you to achieve this for yourself is ensure that you are able to gamify your experience in at least some way. The other thing that holiday sales and holiday period does for us is all of us spend excessive amounts of money on advertising. And that brings in a lot of new traffic to the site, people discovering the brand for the first time, because everybody's trying to be different with the gift that they give. And so it's very, very important that you collect emails. And it's very, very important that you're creative about collecting emails. So for example, if you're selling bags, I would create a fully custom pop-up of a zipper, which I open, like a virtual zipper that loads, a bag that loads. I open the zipper and then I get an offer and I have to give my email ID. The engagement rate on such creative things is very, very high. And that's exactly what you need, because those new customers, which are never going to visit your site again January onwards, because you're not going to be spending the 30, 40, 80, 100K on ads in that month, after that month, the only way to bring them back would be email. So this is the best opportunity for you to grow your email list. And this is kind of the maximum sort of gamification pushed as far as possible. 5 or 6 more ideas. Embrace your brand's humorous side. So in this case, Cards Against Humanity said, hey, you know what? All Cards Against Humanity products are $5 more. So, Cards Against Humanity does this. There's another brand that does skins for phones called Dbrand. They do this as well. They are positioned as if the robots are running the company. So they're extremely rude to humans. And so their entire marketing is very rude. Like in this case, you can see the call to action is consume. So their emails also are similar. The subject line says just buy, and they're just trying to push people into doing things, and it's hilarious. So my point is that it's okay to take it easy. Sometimes we take our brands too seriously. Um, it's obviously important to stick to your brand guidelines and font and colors and do that. But I think it doesn't need to be that serious, and you can play around a little bit with how you communicate without, of course, breaking the law as far as your brand stone goes or your brand's colors go, etc. Share insider tips. Now, I'll give you a very, very interesting advice. Walmart acquired a massive e-commerce business in India called Flipkart, and this business does massive sales. They run huge, multi-million dollar sales every year, once a year. And the thing about that sale is that I'm just going to quickly bring it up so that you have it. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So if you look at this, that sale is called Big Billion Day. And what they do 2 or 3 days before the sale is they make public an Excel sheet of the name of the product, the product's MRP, a Big Billion Day special price, and a key value prop and the link of the product. So they create a cheat sheet. The brand itself creates a cheat sheet and makes it public. And what starts to happen is it's not on the site, it's not on their social media. It's just circulating on WhatsApp and SMS saying, hey, the cheat sheet is out. So now it's become an annual thing that before Thanksgiving or before Prime Day, there will be a cheat sheet which will tell you. So what happens is all phone and mobile and appliance purchases essentially stop for 4 days or go down for 4 days leading up to that sale, and then it's an explosion of purchases. So it's important that if you can create a shareable guide, etc. If you're a large company, obviously it's easier to do because you already have eyeballs, but it's not mandatory. I think you could still do it as a smaller brand. Again, remember, you're doing this for people who are aware about you. So try and find people who bought even once from you in the last 1 year, and then give them a sale cheat sheet. Let's get into gifting. So I wanted to share this image and just wanted to say that creating bundles does not always have to look like this. All bundles don't need to look like hampers, and all hampers are not bundles. So while saying that, what I want to make sure I communicate is gifting is the number one use case you have to solve for. Irrespective of the industry you're in, just think gifting and solve for that in a way that is as accurate as possible. So when I say that, I want us to figure out a way to solve for that in multiple layers. The first thing is discovery. Can I make sure the customer finds a meaningful enough gift within the budget they're trying to buy it for, the gender they're trying to buy it for the age group they're trying to buy it for, etc., relevant to your business? So that's the first thing, finding the gift. Second is, can I convince them that this is a great gift? Social proof, trust, etc. Third is, can I make sure that it is actually looking like a gift? And so can you create a bundle of products or a couple of products together that make a Christmas or a Thanksgiving worthy gift? The fourth is then incentivizing them to go and actually, buy that. So I'm just saying that bundling is sometimes either looked over, or it is done in a way so the brands comply to this, something that looks like this hamper. And I know that we all want to make sure that we can do a hamper, because giving and getting a hamper is really fun, because you're getting like 10 things in a box and it's really interesting that way. So it is interesting, but I recommend you could still do a hamper irrespective of. So I recently saw a hamper from Popcorn Company. It was unbelievable, and trust me that I'll send a picture to all of you in our follow-up email after the webinar. But they were selling packets of popcorn in a gifting hamper. Diwali, as you know, is a massive festival for Indians, and so that's where I saw it. I was like, why are people gifting each other popcorns for Diwali? And it's just ridiculous. But that listing on Amazon had 3,500 reviews. So but the thing is, it made a great value, and people are still buying it. So I'm just saying, make gifting extremely easy. The other way in which you could make gifting very rewarding is by doing paid forward discounts. So this is, I've said a lot of good things about gifting, and I've said a lot of good things about being more giving as a brand and all of that. I want to give you last two ideas, which are a little bit more capitalistic while being good in some way. The first one essentially is about paid forward. So if you are doing lower value products, ask people to buy two, and they'll deliver one, and they'll, essentially, if you're doing, for example, if you're a single product site, and feel free to ask people to buy two, and you will gift one to someone in need. You can also specify who that is, one in need is. That way you're selling two, first of all. Second, good karma. And you can also do a discount on the second one, which is the one that is going to someone in need. So this works brilliantly for cash flows. I saw this very closely for a brand that we suggested this to last year, and I have full access to their business, so I was able to see the spike was incredible after they did this. People just lapped it up because people are in that zone. They want to do good because they want good to happen to them. That's the reason a lot of people do good. It's because they want to make sure good happens to them. So you've got to make sure that your messaging also imbibes that in some way or form. So you're hitting 3 or 4 birds in one stone. You're messaging it in a way that people feel nice, like, oh, this is such a great initiative. Second, you are coming across as a very sort of thoughtful brand. Third, you're selling 2 products at a time, even though at a discount for the second one. And fourth, you're doing good for actually someone who you're going to pay that forward to. Like in this case, a McDonald's meal, for the next guy after me in the line. And then the next guy does next guy. I don't know if you've seen Keel and Pease, McDonald's paid forward, but yeah, 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55. I'll send that link as well, but it's super funny. All right. And the last one, which is a very capitalistic idea again, but I still would want you to go ahead and figure out if you want to do it, is there will be orders and people will want to get products on time and they'll be happy to pay more for it. So priority shipping is one way of doing it, which is something that is handled at checkout, but there is another way in which you could ask for $1 or $2 extra for priority processing. So if you're getting $300 orders a day, about 30 or 40 of them can be processed on priority and shipped out first thing in the morning, so that their chances of reaching in 2 days are much higher than everything else. We've A/B tested this. It does not hurt conversions. At least where we A/B tested, it was successful 60% of the time. And it improved AOV by just a little bit. And this is basically bonus revenue. It's really zero effort, zero cost. It goes straight to the bottom line, and just it's money that can be pocketed straight away. So this is another way in which you could do that. So those are my suggestions for unconventional ideas for Christmas. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat as I go through 3-4 more things which are about customer service, and if you can figure out a way to integrate AR, etc. Slightly more far-fetched ideas there, but I'm open to taking questions in the chat or in the Q&A. I'm jumping into the customer service side of the conversation, so please type in your questions if you have any, and I'm just going to keep going. So AR, if you are selling a product that can be worn or applied or tried on, there are plenty of very cheaply available SaaS tools that you can plug into the site that can allow people to try things on, including lipsticks and everything else that you're probably trying to sell. So I know we have 3 or 4 businesses that sell that kind of products. Please go and implement these. These are nothing. They're $30, $40, $50 a month, and they will transform the way people see your products. So that's important. Bring in AI into your chat. Make sure. I think at this point, if your site does not have a chat, you're already, because it's the second most preferred. Of course, people want to call or email because email is clunky. So chat kind of becomes easier. You spend a lot of your day chatting. People don't answer calls that often. They chat more often. So I think chat is often really overlooked. I also strongly recommend you create specific guides or FAQs which are holiday specific, right? So pick up, whether it's pickup or delivery related questions for the holidays. How do you wrap? Pictures of wrapped products, whether it's about gift cards or if you want, we just want to make sure that questions are very accessible, because as order volume goes up, as traffic goes up, complaints also go up. So that creates an issue. And then the final one is, of course, can you find a way to make chat as well holiday specific? This is a very simple example of helping someone find a gift, but I think there are many ways of doing this. Depending on the time on site that someone has spent, if they came from an ad or organically, you can understand what they need and you can proactively offer help to them. So those are some other ideas in which customer service can be prepared for holidays, for the lack of a better way to put it. But yes, those were our unconventional holiday marketing strategies. We wanted to make sure unconventional being is the operating word there. Folks, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. As I said earlier, I'm sorry if I was a little bit low energy today, but I really hope you were able to find at least one idea you can go and implement, and it helps your business in any way possible. So I'm just standing by for a couple of minutes to see if we have any questions. Otherwise, we will conclude. Thank you so much for your time, folks. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one in not more than 20 days, 15 days. We'll try and be more frequent, and we're going to come back with more conventional ideas, which are going to be related to emails and ads. So thank you so much once again for joining, especially people who I know are joining us for like the 10th time, I believe. And have a nice rest of your week. Thank you. Bye-bye.